I have been involved in this industry my entire life, and I can count on one hand the number of times in all those years that a sled that hasn't been changed year after year has remained a favorite year after year. Polaris's 2024 XCR 650 is one of those sleds. One thing that sets the XCR 650 apart from pretty much every other sled in its class is that it is, in fact, a 650, not a 600. And that is one of the most endearing qualities about this snowmobile. This 650 engine makes anywhere from 130 to 145 horsepower, depending on who you talk to. So what is the magic in this engine? Well, basically Polaris is using the Patriot architecture, the same as the 850, just with smaller holes in it, making a little bit less horsepower. But the broad power range is the same. When you ride a Polaris 850, you notice that the power starts right off engagement and it pulls hard all the way to the full shift. Well, the 650 is exactly the same, it's just got less power. So out back, you're gonna find a 128-inch version of Polaris's Pro CC skid frame. And you're asking yourselves, why is it a 128, not a 129? It's because the track is a .252 pitch track. So that's really the only difference. It's not because Polaris thinks 128 is better somehow. The pitch of the track that they chose to use, their competition pitch track, is just different. There's a different driver up in the front as well. It feels the same as a 129, so there's really no difference there. This skid frame is really robust and durable. The XCR gets a bunch of extra stiffening bits and pieces and some extra stuff to make it survive the rigors of cross-country racing if that's what you choose to do with it, and it is capable of that. The MATRYX platform uses Polaris's proven race IFS front suspension system, and it's no secret to anyone who watches our show that we all agree this is the best front end in the industry in terms of front end ride quality, bump handling, and just general handling overall. It carves corners accurately and gives you tons of confidence as you're cornering in all conditions. Another big secret to that though is these Walker Velocity Series shocks. These are considered or called high-low, which means they have high and low speed compression adjustability. They're just a really great shock, especially when combined with this front end that we make no beans about being best in industry. That is the most endearing aspect of a Polaris MATRYX of any kind, but especially the XCR. While there are many aspects of a snowmobile that are not subjective, there are aspects of a snowmobile that are very subjective, and one of those aspects is ergonomics. What fits me may not fit you, but there is something to be said for just subjective ergonomics. I like how this feels, and that makes it the best for me, and I can't argue with that. What I can do is say that Polaris ergonomics on this MATRYX package have always fit me extremely well. I love how it's laid out. I love the seat. I love the seat height. I love the relation between my feet, my knees, my hips. Everything fits properly. The handlebars, all the switch gear is right where you want it to be. The handlebars are a good width, they're a good shape. It all just works. There's been so much talk in the industry recently about features and technology and included stuff on the sleds that you're getting. And this is, I think, another area that is very subjective. Some people care about features. Some people care a lot about technology. Some people want the highest tech stuff they can get, no matter what it is. And other people are beginning to see that maybe sometimes technology takes away from the purity of riding a snowmobile. And I would agree on both counts. I think that there is technology that works great and is very valuable, and I think there's technology that just distracts from the joy of riding. Polaris has done a great job, in my opinion, of balancing that out. The 7S display is widely considered the best full-featured digital touchscreen display in the industry. It's not intrusive, it's not so in your face. The features that it has, you can use them or you don't have to use them. It works great just as a basic gauge, but it also has those other things built into it if you want to use them. And with all of that said, there is one thing that we need to talk about, and that is general overall build quality. What I mean by build quality is when you receive your sled, are there problems? Are there going to be issues with it? Are there things that are going to go wrong? Is it going to have to end up back at the dealer? And that is one thing Polaris has had trouble with. We can't lie about that or ignore it. It is the truth. And that's something that they are working very hard to improve upon for this season. And I think that they're taking the right steps towards that. But time will tell. And that's something that if you're going to buy a Polaris, you have to understand. You're taking a little bit of a risk that you're not sure what's going to happen. I have great confidence that Polaris has fixed those problems. But again, we shall see. So what is it about the XCR that makes it such a pleasurable sled to ride, that makes it a favorite among so many people? We've covered off a lot of those topics. There's so many things about this sled to love. And year after year, even though Polaris hasn't changed it a whole lot, it still remains equally as fun. And I think what that says is that they nailed it the first time with this sled. This is a sled in the 600/650 class that's darn near impossible to beat. And it's definitely one that is always at the top of my list of sleds that I want to ride every time I go out riding.